Hey everyone, this is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com with a really impromptu live stream. I just wanted to I was drawing in my studio and I'm like, you know what, let's go live. I'm working on a drawing today and I'm using this Prismacolor Terra Cotta pencil. And I haven't used the Terra Cotta pencil in a really long time. And as I'm smacking my lips together here, yeah, so it's really light. It's not that dark. Again, I'm just kind of screwing around here in the studio, trying to keep my practice up, and maybe I can teach you some stuff with what I'm doing here. So as I started, I pretty much started right here with this line, and that really made a lot of sense to me. Hey, Helen, welcome. And I came on down that way, and I kind of understood this convex line that rolled in here. I by no means is what I have here on the paper perfect just yet. It needs to be worked out. It needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. But I really, I saw this. I've been doing a lot of figure drawing lately. I posted up some new figure drawings to Facebook, my Instagram, as well as my personal website, MatthewRochambeau.com. And you can check out some of them there. And lately I've really just been thrilled with working with colored pencils. Let me say hello to a couple people here. So, Biza, is that how you say your name? Jethro, welcome. Colby, welcome. Neil. The crimson is really cool. Yeah, so check this out. This was, so we have a little bit of figure drawing nudity alert. So this was the Verithin pencil. So it has like a whole different vibe to it than the Col-Erase. So look at the difference. So I'm going to let the camera adjust. So when we roll down, look at how, well, it's not that much lighter, but it's lighter. The Terra Cotta is more like a middle tone pencil. So if I kind of come up with this, I really liked the look of this drawing, and I really like the Verithin pencil, which I don't really use too much. So that's where I was with that one, and that was a lot of fun to draw. So I'm like, you know what, I've done a few figures in a row. Let me do a portrait, because, hold on, like everything else in life, ooh, don't want that to fall, 1 second. Alright, let me just get another piece of tape for that. I'm sorry for being off camera. Like everything else in life, blue tape is my hero. It does everything in my studio. Let me put a piece of blue tape on that drawing so it doesn't fall down. Okay, so let's check this out. So Colby's here. Great to see you, Colby. David, happy Friday. MM Borg, welcome. Monique, welcome. And okay, so let's cool. Okay, someone's a little angry today. Okay, woke up early enough to catch the live stream. Welcome, Ace. Hey, Ace, welcome, man. All right, so let me draw a little bit here. So let's just come on down, and there's always something special going on with the live streams. There's always someone who's got a burr up their ass. Excuse my language. All right, so let's keep going here. So let's come on down and just get the edge of this person's face. And this is Erica. I haven't worked with Erica since the last time I worked with her was right when COVID hit. I remember walking back to Penn Station, and it was a beautiful Friday afternoon in March. The weather was getting warm, and then everything just went to hell. And yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let me tap on. I'm working from a photo on my iPad, so I haven't seen Erica in a long time. And Erica does not like to do the live stream thing, and I respect that. So maybe when we start teaching again in the classroom, which will be July, I'll be able to book her for a live drawing class if she's still in the city. I don't know if she moved out of the city. All right, so I'm just kind of going around. I'm going to use a little bit of white charcoal with this because lately white charcoal has been my favorite. Okay, so what am I doing as I'm drawing? So I'm looking at the edge of her eyelash to the edge of her cheekbone, the edge of her eye over here to the edge of that. I'm looking at that little light space as well. When I first started to draw this, I really didn't get the tilts right, so I've been adjusting a little bit of an erasing. This pencil erases pretty good. It's not so dark, so it's not that bad. Welcome, George. Okay, so George Meza Art has a question here. I think it's a really good question. I have a question. Can you get the level of realism with acrylic like oil paints? All right, so a little history on that. So I painted with oils for 20 plus years. And back when I was in college in the late 80s, life was a little bit more simple. And the big decision that I had to make with painting was, am I going to use acrylics or am I going to use oils? And I decided that I was going to use oils. And the reason why I decided that is because all of the paintings that I absolutely love. So I'm just looking at where the bottom of Erica's nose is. All of the best paintings that I loved were done with oils, and oils were around for hundreds of years. Acrylics were basically plastic, and although I like the idea of acrylics, so now I'm looking at the corner of her lips, and convenient, yes, it's pretty safe. Oils are a pain, you know, you have to deal with the terps, and they dry slow, but then I made the decision, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use oils. And that was the best decision that I ever made, because quite frankly, like I couldn't get how I wanted to paint with acrylics. I couldn't do it. So oil was the best decision that I ever made. Now listen, that's just me, and you have to kind of do what works best for you, and everything with your process of creating art has to fit into your lifestyle. Okay, so right now my lifestyle is just about picking a pencil up, putting it down, picking a pencil up, putting it down, drawing whenever. I don't want to deal with, you know, the hours long process of getting ready to paint with oils. But when I was an illustrator, it worked for me. And so you have to pick what works best for you. There are some acrylic painters who are awesome, and you can be awesome too with acrylic. You just kind of have to put the time in. All right, and I put the time in with oils, and I made that decision. But you're not going to get really good. So now I'm looking at the distance from her bottom of her nose to, I don't know if that's, I think the bottom of her nose needs to be a little bit longer. So this is just like a little target. So you're never going to be happy until you make that decision about the medium that you use, and you stick with it, and you work with it for a while. Okay, you can't constantly go back and forth between mediums, because that's when you don't improve. And I see that happening constantly with people, students that I've had over the years, where they constantly go back and forth to, am I going to do this style? Am I going to do that process? And let's put a little bit of tone here. I haven't figured out, she does have, I think I had the nose right. This chin just needs to be higher. Yeah, let's do that. So that's my answer. You gotta pick one, and then once you pick one, you need to work with it for a while to give it time to kind of blossom. And time doesn't mean a month. Time means 6 months. Okay, and even that's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. Let me just say hello to a couple people here. I hope that helped you, George. Thank you, Nathaniel. Appreciate you. Kamathi, how are you? How are you? Cool name. I appreciate that, Shrimp. Hope your moving goes well. Everyone loves to move to a new place. Hello, Sabi. Great to have you here. Ace. Yeah, absolutely. So you can, I think, you can learn all this stuff. You can draw digitally, you can draw traditionally, and they all complement. So, but eventually you have to draw the line in the sand, and you have to be like, okay, this is my medium, this is what I want to be known for, and I'm going to stick with digital, or I'm going to stick with acrylic, or I'm going to stick with oil. And until you do that, you're really not going to kind of develop yourself as a true kind of name in the art world, in terms of you're constantly bouncing all over. Some other teachers would kind of give you different advice, and that's cool. You have to kind of take the advice that works best for you. But my advice is that you have to pick a style, pick a process, pick a subject matter, and stick with it, and let it kind of blossom. Eva Maria, welcome. Renee, I appreciate you joining us here. PCP Gaming, welcome. Mike should be recording the sound. Let's see here. Let me check out my sound here. So my mic, yeah. How does my sound, everybody? Should be pretty good. What do you think? Give me some feedback. So this should tell you if I'm using this mic, because when I step away from it, it should be much lower, and then when I come up close to it, it should be much better. So if that's the case, then I'm recording with this mic. So you just let me know. So now I'm looking at the distance from her eye here to here, and that always gives me a good idea as to where to place that nose. Again, from the bottom of her nose to the chin is quite small, and the distance from the bottom of her nose to the top of her lips is a short distance because she's looking down and she's foreshortened. So I think I made a little bit of a mistake there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up her mouth. And so if anything, what you learn from this live stream is how not to be intimidated by mistakes and just to kind of work through it. And yeah, so I'm going to lift that up. And now I'm going to lift up the bottom of her lip. Right here, I'm going to say that's going to be the bottom of her lip. I appreciate Jay the developer. Jay the developer, can you tell me how the sound sounds on this live stream? When I come back from the microphone, do you hear me less? And when I come up close to the microphone, do you hear me more? That would be helpful. Okay, so we're going to say that's going to be the bottom of her lip. And then under her lip is a classic underplane shadow. So now I'm going to use my kneaded eraser and just erase out the shadow on her chin. And then, yeah, so let's erase out that jawbone. And now I'm going to resharpen, okay? 1 second now. So she does have a big forehead because she's looking down. And she does have a short chin. So it's a foreshortened thing happening here. Okay, so now I'm not really a big fan of just drawing a face and not the shoulders, so I suggested the shoulders right over here, really important. So we have a beautiful convex coming on in over here. How are we doing here with us? Okay, we're doing okay. Look at where her cheekbone rolls in and where her shoulder starts. It might be a little higher. Okay, good. Let's flow that down, and I'm just kind of winging this by eye. And if you get stuck in an area, don't stay there. Okay, move around. I think it's really important that you move around because you can get locked into that tunnel vision, and that's not good. Okay, so let's just bring her chin a little higher. So that's going to be her shadow under her lip, bottom of the chin. Good. And now let's roll this up, 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 up. And so where the angle shift happens on her jawbone, this could actually tilt in a little bit more. So it's a little too far away. Okay, I see now. Okay. So sometimes you need to work on things for a little while to get them. All right. Now, I'm not saying I even got it. I could probably even bring this in. Okay, let's tap that. Cool. Yeah. All right, that made a difference. So bringing in the cheekbone. Now, you notice I'm not even going to erase that because that's going to be the darker of her hair. So I'm just going to leave that for now. Now let's kind of taper that down, taper that down. That feels a little bit better for her. Face here. Now let's just suggest where the hair starts to grow from that forehead. Just want to see something here. Oh, my comments froze there. Okay, sorry about that. Everybody was leaving me comments and I didn't even see them. Ace, thank you. I can't pronounce your name. I apologize. Helen, it's okay here. Okay, thank you. Okay, awesome. Yeah, Roberto Ferri, he's the best. So if you go on Instagram and you check out Roberto Ferri official, thank you Jethro. He's my favorite artist right now. Okay, David's saying that my mic's not working, not sure. Okay. Yeah, oil, so, yeah, just you got to give this stuff time to blossom. You really do. Let me just try one thing here. Let me look at my mic. Ah, let's mute that. How's this sound? Is this better? I should have had that open. How's this sound? Thank you, Peter. Um, Neil, is this better, Neil? Come back to me, Neil. Okay, good. Thank you, David. I had my other. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry about that. I've only been doing this like forever. You think I'd have this stuff down? God, how long are we into this live stream and the mic just got fixed? God, 16 minutes. Seriously? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let me try to redeem myself and draw a little bit more here. So now, as I raise her chin, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna now look at her nose. So you see this little thing? Thank you, Shay. Right over here under her eye. So I'm gonna just, I don't care about doing a pretty illustration. I'm doing a quick little portrait drawing here today. So I'm looking at the distance from this little um, fold under her eye to where her nose starts, and it's quite short. So I need to lift this. Okay, lift that, and these kind of feel a little symmetrical. Both sides of her nose. You don't want to go too dark with that. And now what I've been doing lately is I've been using a lot of tone with starting. So look at what I'm doing here. I'm trying to just block in the tone here of the side plane of her face, because sometimes you just need that shape to kind of make you see things. Okay, and with the terracotta pencil, I haven't used the terracotta pencil in a very long time. This is so light; it's crazy light. Okay, but that is a good way to be very soft in the beginning and non-committal with kind of placing her face. And now what we can do here is we can come on down with that other little. We're just going to call it a value shift under her eye to her cheekbone over here. Some very light pressure. So the very light pressure thing is when you're going to do a long drawing. So I don't know what this is going to be. I just kind of started it, and I just can't believe the mic was just screwy in the beginning. That's really unprofessional. I should have checked that, and this software that I'm using makes it very easy for you to check everything, and I just screwed up. Okay, so let me, okay, water under the bridge. Let me keep going here. So this whole side of her mouth is shadow. Now we have that beautiful sternomastoid, and yeah, that's 1,000 times better. Now I've got to really resharpen this pencil. Okay, so Peter, the stroke is not that dark, so can you do it? Okay, not sure what you mean by that, Peter. So this pencil, this is the darkest it's going to be right here. That's as dark as I'm going to be able to get with it on the top. What's going to help it is when I dive into using the white charcoal pencil. Okay, that will start to help it, but I don't like to start to use that white charcoal until I progress with the drawing. Oh, Sabi, my wife gave that to me. Actually, she bought it for my daughter to put in her room. It's called a rock salt lamp, and my daughter never used it, so I kind of stole it. And my daughter was okay with that. She's taken plenty of things from my studio. She came in and grabbed white acrylic paint, and I needed that white acrylic paint so bad, and I couldn't find it, and it was like in one of her drawers, and I'm like, come on, Bella. So yeah, she didn't mind that I took the rock salt lamp. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm going very light, very soft, very non-committal, and I haven't really committed to anything just yet. So now what I need to do is look at where her nose is in relationship to the edge of her face. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and move that nose over just a touch. I can also move her face over just a touch. So I'm not quite sure which one is not correct just yet. So I have a dull point of my side of my pencil. I need to make sure that I stick with that dull part of the pencil early on in the mix of this drawing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's cool. It just gives the back of the room a little vibe. All right, so now this rolls. I'm doing a little soft tone. And now I'm looking at this. We're going to call this the smile line. Sometimes it's the frown line. You don't want to go too dark with that. But I'm using that as a measuring tool to where the corner of her mouth is. Good. And I appreciate that, Ari. Yeah, I haven't been doing lives a lot lately. I just started again last Friday. Hey, Danny. Yeah, I appreciate that. I needed to take a little bit of a break from going live just to deal with some health things, and still dealing with health things, but we're not going to talk about that right now. And I was teaching a lot of classes online, so I'm like, okay, something's got to give. And the semester just ended. So I'm like, okay, the semester just ended. No more excuses. Let's do some live stuff. And I'll be teaching again in a week and a half, a perspective class for the School of Visual Arts on Zoom. And it's going to be a 4 hour and 50-minute class, perspective. So that's no joke. That's going to be kind of real. And I'm really looking forward to it. I taught my first semester of perspective, and I just absolutely loved it. I love teaching landscapes in perspective, interiors in perspective, prop design in perspective, all those really awesome things. I think I got into the prop design class more than the students did. Like what we would do is we would combine things. So like you would combine, say, a whale and a submarine, and it was so much fun. That class was awesome. And I never do anything like that on my website, Drawing Tutorials Online. But in class, I do all that kind of really cool stuff. Found it difficult to stop looking at the drawing once I saw this art. I appreciate that, Sol Lija Roshani. I hope I wrote, I probably didn't say, I'm trying to be too fancy. I'm probably not saying your name right. Carlos Campos from Brazil. Yeah, you got it, Danny. I'll try to do them as much as once a week, as much as I possibly can. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing the Zoom class for members of Drawing Tutorials Online every Tuesday at 3 p.m. And I want to take that to the next level. And yeah, a lot of the students kind of berated me last week from DTO that I didn't post up the photo reference, but I did. But I posted it on Zoom in the chat before it started, so it didn't show up in the chat. That's something I learned new about Zoom. You got to post the photo reference up in the chat when the Zoom class actually starts. So I kind of want to bring that up to a higher level and offer a better reference for everybody before, because when everyone's trying to draw along with me, the reference is not there. It's kind of hard. It was about to correct or erase a line from the drawing from your process. I appreciate that, Pitor. Hope I'm saying your name right. Yeah, totally. So let's see here. I'm going to just place her ear. Where is her ear? Her ear is slightly lower than her eye over here. And again, I don't want to get stuck in one area. So you see this mistake line? I'm turning it into a positive. So now, just for fun, I'm going to start to press down a little harder over here and see what that does. I appreciate that, MM Borg. I forgot your name. I apologize. It's all the way up in the chat there. I'll probably screw my eyes up if I scroll all the way up. But I thank you. Thank you. All right, so now let's put in a little bit of a dark shape. So I think it's really important in the beginning. I do have a dark shape with her eyes, but we need a bigger dark shape. So with drawing, you need to, it's hard for me to say this because everybody's style is a little bit different. But what I find is even if you like to draw with line, it's really helpful if you can get a little bit of shape in your drawing early on in the game, because shapes just help you see things more clearly. If you could do a drawing just with line, and I do that all the time, but think about percentages. So maybe, boy, that's weird. I need to resharpen this. It was just creating a weird effect. Sometimes if my line drawings, I'll put like 10% of the drawing will have a shape, and the other 90% will have line. But I find that whenever I do line and shape, I get better results. This is weird right over here. The Terra Cotta pencil isn't like taken to the paper. Very strange. I'm just going to kind of power through right there. And sometimes this, so the one thing I've been drawing with this pencil, the Verithin, and I love it. And this pencil is really dark compared. Let me see. Can I do it on this scrap piece of paper? I have this little piece of paper here, and if I put it right here, it's really dark. And now the Terra Cotta is going to be much lighter. Look at that. That's like a value lighter. So yeah, this is going to be really light, this drawing. It's gonna be interesting. It sometimes is good to just kind of switch things up a little bit. I kind of, the Col-Erase, I always say this. I know I'm tripping over my words. I'm sorry. I got 14 million things going on in my brain. I need to slow down. The Col-Erase, when you keep them in your studio for years, they dry out. And I don't remember when the last time I bought a Terra Cotta pencil. And so this pencil is dried out. I have a really dry environment in my studio. In my house in general, it's extremely dry, and the pencils tend to get harder. And if I was to just purchase this from the art supply store, if it's new and it hasn't been sitting at the art supply store for years, it should be much softer. This pencil is really hard. And when it's hard, I like a much softer pencil. So let's do a little bit of shape of hair. Okay, so let's come over here. Can you even see that? I don't want to move the reference over right now. Let me just out at times. Yeah, I need to deal with that this week. It seemed to stop now. It comes and goes. I need to kind of think about investing in. Well, first I'm going to try a new cable, and then I want to get a new camera. But yeah, I'll see if the cable will fix it. It seems pretty good to me right now. If it keeps flickering, I'll just call it a day, because I know that can be very annoying. So let's just get shape of hair. And so it's not that tall. I'm already going too tall with it. That's not cool. So let's lower it. And let's come on down. Oh, I saw a video on YouTube where an alligator was trying to get into, or a crocodile, I don't know which is which, was trying to get into somebody's house, and it was down like in Florida or something like that. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting, especially if you have dogs. I mean, it wasn't a huge one. It was like 4 feet long compared to like 10 feet long, and it was fairly small. Thank you, Ace. And so, yeah, totally. So I'm having a lot of technical difficulties today. The hazards of going live. So a little shape of hair right there just makes the world of a difference, so we don't have a floating face. And if I put a lot of tone over here right now, I'm going to smudge it. So a practical thing for y'all to do is start your tone on the left side if you're a righty. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So we'll probably see things a whole lot better. Now, when I look at this photo reference, her hair is really dark, and I don't need to match that value. If I want it to really look like her, so see what I'm doing? I'm adjusting. I'm making from here to here much thinner. So these lines that are so-called wrong lines, it's okay. Yeah, it's totally okay that they're not right, because it can just be loose strands of hair. I've been standing for a very long time. Right now I'm drawing standing, and I've been standing all morning, and I think my legs are finally catching up to me. But I'm trying to stand more because I sit all the time, and just because I'm going to be teaching in July 2 classes, 5 days a week, 2 classes in one day, and that's going to be a lot of standing. So I'm trying to get my legs back to where they used to be in terms of their strength levels. Okay, somebody's out there doing something with a leaf blower, so hopefully you don't hear that. This mic shouldn't pick it up. Where are we? Let's do a little bit over here. This is going to be not really too interesting for you to watch me draw her hair, but I wanted to put a little bit of shape in there because shape is important. Okay? And let's just do a little bit more right over here. So pencil stroke direction for hair. Draw her hair with the way that it's growing on her head and the way that it's combed. So I see it kind of growing that way. So sticking up, falling over, and then vertical, vertical, vertical. Okay, now let's, yeah, definitely so when I teach in a city, I think I have a smaller classroom. I've had the same classroom for many, many, many years, and I think, since COVID, everything has changed with the college. So, yeah, I have a smaller classroom, but my old classroom was huge, and just walking around it all day, I would be exhausted at the end of the day and just conk out on the train. We need a Rocky montage of you standing. Um, I need focused nose for me. Okay, gotcha. Cool, very cool. So let's see here. Let's just work on this a little bit more. And this little dimple under the nose, we're gonna go there. I'm not gonna go too dark under her nose because then that's gonna create like a mustache look. So we want to not necessarily match the photo reference there. And I'm going to add some white charcoal before this live stream is over because it wouldn't be a live stream without some white charcoal. Yeah, totally. Okay, now let's do that mouth. So small little chin. And I'm just going to put my line in the sand here. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And I'll just deal with it. But this pencil's erasing out beautifully. So if it's wrong, it's okay. Hey, Yusra. Okay, wow, I didn't get that email, but I'll check on it after the live stream, okay? Sometimes people can't log into the website because when they join, they only want to join for a month. And I understand that. Maybe they don't trust me. Maybe they don't have a lot of money this month. They just want to join for the month and see how the site is. So the day they join, they cancel. And when you cancel your subscription, you can't log in. And people do that, and then I have to deal with. I don't think you did that because you've been a member for a while now, and I think you like the website and you trust me, and I'm not ripping you off. So yeah, I promise I'll look at it. Sometimes there's weird things that goes on with the website in terms of billing, like a billing cycle maybe didn't go through, and then the software kind of locks you out, which is unfortunate, but the software has to be set up that way because I can't micromanage the website and live a life because I'd be kind of, billing didn't go through for so-and-so, and then I'm constantly near my computer. So a lot of it needs to be automated. And sometimes with automation, there comes problems. It shouldn't be that way, but yeah, that's the wonderful world of computers. Okay, I promise I'll look. Thank you. Oh wow, yeah, that I love this color. It's really nice. Sanguine, I don't like the art sticks. So going back to what we were talking about earlier with acrylic versus oil and sticking with one medium, I can't pronounce your name, but I'll say your last name, Malik. Luis, welcome. Um, yeah, I will. So sanguine. So it's really important that when you're young, you experiment with different materials, but at some point, you need to kind of draw your line in the sand and say, okay, I'm going to be an artist known for this technique and this style and this subject matter. And I've done that twice in my life. So I made that decision in fourth year of college that it was going to be oil paints, and I was going to paint book covers in oil paints, nothing else. And I was going to do my sketches in pencil for the art directors. And then I made a decision, a second decision, that I was going to not do oil painting anymore, and that I was just going to work with the Col-Erase. And so then I mastered the Col-Erase. And if I was like, well, one day I'm going to do the sanguine sticks, and the next day I'm going to do the charcoal, and the next day I'm going to do acrylic, and the next day I'm going to do oils, and the next day I'm going to do digital, you water down your progress. And I'm not saying I don't work digitally. I'm not saying I don't use charcoal, but I don't use that stuff for my finished work. So my finished work is all the same medium, which is Prismacolor pencils. Okay, for many, many years, all my illustration sketches were done with mechanical pencil. So everything for many, many years in my life was done with this pencil. And then I just stopped using it. And I stopped using that pencil because I started teaching life drawing. And that pencil does not work well for life drawing at all, especially on an 18 by 24 pad. Warsaw. Oh, wow. I have a friend from Poland. He's a really nice guy. He lives here locally. He does construction, and God, why am I having a mental blank on his name? Where I see him every weekend almost. Oh my God! All right, it'll come to me. I can't believe it. You ever have a mental blank? The worst mental blank I've ever had was in the classroom, and I knew everyone's names. Like it was week 25, and we were doing a critique of everyone's artwork, and I just had a mental blank, and I forgot the student's name, and I couldn't remember their name, although I said their name like a million times, and the class put me on the spot, and nobody would help me, and I was like so embarrassed, my face turned red, and yeah, she felt so bad for me, and we connected after that. Alice, she picked me for her thesis advisor for her animation film, and why am I not free? Hold on, I'm gonna. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Okay, he's from Poland. I appreciate that, Timothy. Tomas is his name. There we go. He's a really nice guy. All right, so we're getting there now. Let's look at this. Photo reference went down. Sorry for the thumb, using my iPad for photo reference. And let's do a little bit more. So the shading's probably, let me resharpen this. All right, let's see here. Now, I'm dying. So when we use this white charcoal, it's very easy to want to put it in immediately because it's so much fun. But you have to, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you have to resist the option of putting the white charcoal pencil in, because the white charcoal pencil goes over the Col-Erase okay, but the Col-Erase doesn't go over the white charcoal that good. So I'm just saving the white charcoal a little bit. Yeah, it was, that was quite an experience in the classroom. All the students were kind of laughing at me, and it was all in good fun. That was an awesome, very close-knit group. And some of them really went on to do some professional things. I don't know what Alice is doing right now, but Alice is a great person, really cool student. All right, you can't see that part. Let's bring this part of her hair down a little bit more. I think I'm going to start to add a little white charcoal with that being said. But actually, you know what? This nose is not right. Let's work on the nose a little bit more. Indonesia, welcome. Okay, a little dark over here. I don't like to go too dark with the smile lines right over there. I like to keep that lighter. And this is toned down. This is not as bright as her forehead, but you got to be careful that you don't go too dark with it, because you don't want it to look like a guy's 5 o'clock shadow. That would not be cool. Okay, so this is where you got to use like your soft touch right over here, not too much pressure. And this is why I like the Col-Erase, because I can't do that with a regular graphite. I mean, I can. Where's that? Let me show you. But I'm not great at it. I just, yeah, so we have our mechanical, we have a, see, that's as light as I'm going to get right there. That's pretty light. Okay, so I have a good touch today. But yeah, it's more effort. Welcome from India. This is, God, 1 second. My daughter bought me this pad, and I'm all out of paper. I have this it's Strathmore Tone Tan 80-pound paper, 11 by 14 pad, and as you can see, it's completely empty. This is my last piece of paper. But I have pads everywhere. I have hundreds of pads all over my studio, so I'm sure I can find paper somewhere if I wanted it. But yeah, it's my favorite paper, and it takes the white charcoal beautifully. I don't know a substitute for the Col-Erase. I wish I did. This is, I was looking and just trying to use like some different pencils. I've got hundreds and hundreds of pencils, and these are all Col-Erase. And I've tried, the different types of Col-Erase. I didn't really, I only like the Col-Erase or this one, the Verithin. So where's my Verithin? Okay, it's somewhere in here. Yeah, I only like the Verithin. Here we go. It's right here. She's tilted a little too much. I just glanced. I don't know a good substitute. I wish I did. I'm sorry. Because I know they're hard to find. That's why, like, I have hundreds of them because every time I teach classes in an art supply store downstairs, I go buy them. A couple dollars each week, and then you build up a nice stock in case the world ends. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. There is a place, I don't know where you live, but in Europe, people have a hard time finding them. There is a place that sells them online. Mississippi, love it. Thank you, Taroya. Thank you so much. I would love to move down south. Mississippi sounds really cool. No, this is really smooth paper. Doesn't it has like, you see this right over here? Actually, no, you don't. You see that right over there? That's like a black texture of the paper, and they're all over. They kind of look like, you were petting your dog and little like hairs fell on the paper, and you just, if you're going to use this paper, you just kind of have to accept that that stuff is going to be there, and just go with it. Like it was like over here. Okay, figure drawing nudity alert. Yeah, with this one, you can see right over here, there's like that black line, and it was on her forehead. I didn't like that. There's another one on her chin. There was another one over here on her thigh that I couldn't get rid of. And you can really see it like right here. It's part of the paper. And yeah, it is what it is. I used to hate that, but I actually like it. So let's try a little bit of white charcoal. When I draw like this, my hands are above my heart. And whenever your hands are above your heart, you tend to, unless you have really, I think I have good circulation, but you gotta every once in a blue moon drop your hands because they start to get like a little shaky. Like this is equal with my heart. I think it's above my heart. So it's really important to drop your hands every once in a while. Let me do that right now and look at some of these comments. Dion Mars, figured it was a rougher type of paper. Yeah, the time to experiment with different brands is when you're young and you're a hobbyist and you just want to experiment. Yeah, whoever has the most art supplies wins. Thank you. I can't pronounce Lafshik. Christina, I appreciate that. Krishna. Okay, so let's. So this is our lightest light. So you see, I want to show you how I start the charcoal. So I start the charcoal Sometimes I'm a little bit of a lunatic, and I'll press down harder with the charcoal. But right now, I want this to be a soft piece. So I'm going to go soft to start off with, and then I'm going to blend. So this is where the light is hitting her forehead. This should be one of the lightest lights. Okay, and I'm going to go really super light pressure. It comes down her forehead. And now when I do that, I'm realizing her forehead's way too tall. So I need to lower that. And I'm glad. So I'm glad I didn't wait to use the white charcoal because her forehead is way, way, way too tall. I need to drop it. So I'm going to put some light charcoal over here. Let's drop that right now. So let's get, I almost grabbed the wrong pencil. That would have sucked. So let's bring this down. I'm going to do a soft angle right here. So hair needs to be very soft where it touches the forehead. Laugh. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, where hair touches skin, you don't want to have a hard edge everywhere. Especially, like, look at how soft this edge is of her hair. If it's too hard edge, it's going to look like a doll's hair. So that's a really good tip. And especially for painters, like I've seen a lot of paintings where people right over here, they make the hair so hard edge and it just looks fake. So there needs to be a balance. Like here, this is where my hard edge is going to be. But up here, maybe one or two strands of hair, sure, I can make them a little bit of a harder edge. But if all of them are hard edges, it's going to look fake. Huttonville, PS. Where's PS? Pennsylvania? Oh God, yeah. I had a turtle in my backyard, and I saved him and brought him to Turtle Heaven, which is this little swampy, woodsy area where I live. It's called a. My wife's gonna make fun of me if she hears me talking about this. There's this thing, and I didn't know this until I moved where we moved. It's called a kettle hole. And a kettle hole is this huge hole that was created by a glacier melting very slowly. And right where I live, like there's this hole and all water like accumulates there. It's kind of just like a low-lying, swampy little area. And it's called a kettle hole. So I brought the turtle to the kettle hole. And it was in turtle and frog. I also had a frog in my pool, and I brought the frog there too. So they probably became friends. But yeah, I mean, it was like turtle and frog heaven over there at the kettle hole. Okay, let's see. How's this looking? It's looking okay. It's looking okay. This needs to be dropped. Let's keep dropping it. And that means we have to drop all of the hair. So it's, again, how do you avoid having to use your eraser? You use light pressure. Now, not everyone's into this. This is a slow process that would take hours, not minutes. And so I like to do both. I like to do short duration gesture drawings that are 2 minutes, 5 minutes. We're doing that all in the Zoom classes with the model. I love that. We do that in the classroom. I love that. But I also love the long stuff, and I've always done the long stuff, and that's what I was trained in. And the gestures also, I think it's really important to do both. Just a little bit more of a square look and feel to the top of the head. I need to make sure I get that. So I'm just going super soft, super soft. This is as real as it gets. We're talking about frogs, turtles, and kettle holes. There's actually a street like where I live that's called Kettle Hole. I didn't really know that until I moved here, what that was all about, but pretty cool. Yeah, we're talking about melting glaciers, frogs, and turtles. I should stick to the art terms here. So this pencil, I gotta admit, I don't love it, this one in particular, because like I'm just drawing. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like there's like a piece of sand on like stuck on the tip of the pencil. And it gets like that sometimes. It's weird. So I'm just going to sharpen that, and maybe it's just that little section of the pencil. I don't know. I get that with graphite more than anything else. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. So now it went away after I can't, I don't know what that is. Very strange. Yeah, you can see my paper is scratched. That is so odd. Look at that. That is weird. Whoa, well, maybe you can't see it, but I can see it. Okay, let's go back to the white charcoal. Let's put this down over here. And let me just look at some of these. Krishna, I love that. That rolls off the tongue. Krishna. Patil. Graphite or chalk pencil? Which is better for drawing? Well, what's better? Okay, so I'll give you my short answer, and don't get mad at me. But the drawing that is best, the pencil that is best for you, and your drawing is the one that gets you the best results. So, do some tests, do a couple drawings, and test which one gets you the best results, and that's the best pencil for you. So, a student introduced me to the Col-Erase many, many, many years ago, and I instantly got really good results with it. And so that became my go-to pencil just because of the results. The results are the name of the game. And if I'm not getting good results with the materials that I'm using, I'm going to not use them. Even though there might be a teacher who taught that or some great artist that I admire uses that medium. But if it doesn't work for me, I'm not going to use it. Okay, I haven't spent any time on this Erica's nose here. I need to spend a little time on her nose. And yeah, forehead's still too tall. So this is going to be a slow process. So I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight right over there. And I'm dying to put a little highlight on her eyelid, but I still need to work out her eye. So that's got to wait. Yeah, that's totally got to wait. Now, what I want to do is, where's my brush? This brush probably has pink on it. Watch. From my other drawing with the red. Yeah, it almost is like there's makeup on the brush from this pencil. The rouge, crimson red. So yeah, it is what it is. Let's start blending a little bit here. And I have a different brush for the white. Where is it? It's not out. 1 second. 1 second. I don't have one out. And God, what did I do with that brush? I'm going to use this soft fan brush. Okay. I don't know where that one is. So just the fan brush is beautiful because you get a nice soft blend. So what I like to do is put that white charcoal down and then blend it away. So this is a layering process, okay? Or it doesn't have to be. It could just be you draw and you leave it and you don't do any of this brush work. So once I take the brush out and I start to use it, so now I know I'm in it for a long time because now we just make everything way too soft. But softness is the beginning of realism. So I'm cool with this right now because I'm going to just go right back over it and we'll pull everything out once again. And the soft thing is what makes your drawings look pretty cool. If you're okay with spending hours on the drawing, which I'm okay with. All right, now let's come back and start where we started. So now you see how everything just got really soft and I took the edge off of it and it almost probably looks a little too soft and faded. So now I'm going to start all over again. And we start right here and we press down hard, press down hard, press down hard. And this rolls in. This is going to be a real test to see if this pencil can, this paper can take the abuse because I'm pressing down pretty hard. I'll get to the comments in a second. I just want to get this edge correct, or as best as I can here. Yeah, she's a figure drawing model. Yep, absolutely. Since how did I draw this painting, or was I present? Appreciate that. Okay, so now let's bring this down one more time. That weird thing's happening again with the pencil where it gets a weird feeling to it. I don't know what that is. So this could come in more, closer to her eye. So let's adjust. Not loving that edge at all. So my edge is all wacky. So let's start from here. Let's go here and roll in. So I don't know how far I'll take this in the live stream, but I'm gonna try to push it a little bit more for you all. I don't know if this was a mistake to use this pencil. Let me sharpen it again. Now, if I wanted to, I like monochromatic things, and I could come on in with a darker pencil over this, but I'm not ready to go there. Just paying attention to the edge. Now I'm not going to go sharp with the edge and the shadow. I'm going to stop the sharpness right here on the chin. And let's go. Yeah, something's not right with this. So let's roll in. Press down a little bit harder over there. Get that nice dark edge. Let's come back to the eye area. And press down harder with the lash. Soft lashes. No, don't focus so much on the individual lashes. Focus on the group of lashes. That will help you so much more. Okay, so I'm just going to do that lower eyelid now. And I got to admit, I don't love the pencil right now. It's really hard. And but I'm going to just fight through it. Let's go over to this side. It's very dark over here at her tear duct. And let's roll down into the lash once again. Darker eye, pupil area, and a darker lid line, and a darker brow. And this brow needs to be a little thicker over here and perhaps a touch lower. I don't know anything about watercolor pencils, unfortunately. Thank you, Nancy. Welcome from Turkey. Appreciate that. I don't know too much about watercolor pencils. Unfortunately, I haven't really worked with them too much. Now let's when you use the brush, you take a lot of pencil off of the paper. So that it's good and it's bad. So it's good because now it makes everything softer, and then you draw on top of that softness, and it's a layered approach, and that's how you create something that looks really soft and real. Hard is not real. Like, hard is graphic novels, cartoon lines, stuff like that, line work. That's stylized, but soft is realism. So that's why I'm okay with working with the brush, and then the brush takes pencil off the paper, and then you're like, oh God, I ruined it. No, you didn't ruin it. It just means that you have to devote more time to, building up the next layer of value. But you have to figure out if you like that. Some people don't like that because of their lifestyle doesn't afford them the time to do a long drawing. And so you got to do what works best for you and your lifestyle. Your style of art is determined by your lifestyle. So if you have a full-time job and you really only have the weekends to draw and you don't have a lot of time, maybe you're going to pick something that is a shorter duration style and work process. or maybe you like to work every night for a few hours, and that's your thing. So maybe you're going to spend more time on your artwork, so you can afford doing a long duration work process, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm hearing that it's expensive everywhere. The most expensive, that was funny. I combined expensive and pencil. Expensile is this thing. This is like almost, it feels like $2 a pop for one of these suckers, and they go by really fast. But I only use them for gesture drawing, and it's like a black crayon. Those are my favorite. I never use them in my studio, really. Yeah, not in love with the terracotta. I could find another terracotta, maybe. Oh, here's one. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see what this sucker does for us. Maybe we'll get lucky and it's a little softer. Because that pencil that I'm using right now is really super duper hard. Yeah, so for me, I teach pretty much how to draw people. So people means portraits, the figure, hands, feet, all the things that are really hard and people struggle with. So if I just draw the figure, I'm going to kind of lose my touch with portraits a little bit. And if I just draw portraits, then I'm going to lose my touch a little bit with the figure drawing proportion thing. So I think it's good to rotate. Okay. Absolutely. I think it's good if you're into drawing the figure and portraits. Yeah, I appreciate that higher stoner. Expensile. Yeah. Yeah, they are like butter, those pencils. I think the key answer to your question, Dion, is that you have to draw the subject matter that you absolutely love to draw. If you do not love the subject matter, you're not going to be really interested in drawing it. Okay, so I mean that's why I tell this story so many times. The reason why I consciously stopped pursuing my illustration career after 18 years, I couldn't take painting book covers anymore. I wasn't interested in that subject matter because basically all I was doing was painting clothes. And it was just, okay, let's do another painting and let's paint fabric all day. And that got really old after many, many years because painting fabric is no joke. It takes forever. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to really focus in on figure drawing, and that's going to be my thing. All right. So maybe I'm going to come back now with a little bit more of that white charcoal, but I'm just doing that for y'all on YouTube. Technically, I shouldn't be using that white charcoal just yet. I need to put way more pencil down on the paper. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Art supplies are really expensive. Venice Beach. Wow, sounds. How's life? It's going okay. I don't want to complain on YouTube. Um, hey, Zoran, how are you, brother? Okay, let's see here. All right, where do I go next? I still haven't devoted a lot of time to her nose. And yeah, shoulders is just shoulders can be a little tricky. No doubt, you just need to know a little bit about anatomy of the collarbone. Very important, the collarbone called the clavicles. Very important that you understand the trapezius, and very important that you understand the deltoids. Um, I'm trying to get my son to work on his deltoids a little bit because he has tech neck with rounded shoulders from staring at his phone all day. And I was teaching him about the deltoids the other night, that he has a posterior, anterior, and lateral head of the deltoid. And he needs to work the posterior to get his shoulders to go back so he doesn't have rounded shoulders at 15 years old from staring at his phone all day and holding his phone in front of his face. So the way that you get better at drawing shoulders is really understanding what you're drawing, and what you are drawing is the anatomy of the shoulders. So that involves collarbone, trapezius, sternomastoids. So this right here is a sterno SCM muscle, we'll call that for short. Right here, it comes down. We want it to be nice and light, and really important. This is part of her neck, and then we have, well, that's basically her trapezius, and then we have the. So where does that angle start? It starts higher than her chin. So that's wrong, but we're just going to kind of go with it. Yeah, cartooning is cool. All my students draw cartoony, so I mean, I make them draw realistically, and then they draw in their stylized way as well. Right, frames are really expensive, and so I found a great place online. It's a little expensive though. It's called Level Frames, I think it is, where you can order custom sizes, and I ordered one from them, and it's really good. It's really, but there's a local arts and crafts store here in the U.S. It's called Michael's, and I go there, and that's where I get frames. All the frames that you see on the wall behind me were from Michael's. Absolutely. Most of the frames they get really hacked up a little bit because they just throw them on the shelves, and you just have to kind of go through and find one that's not hacked up. Okay, cool. Now, let's do a little bit more shading over here. There's a gradation on the forehead. And let's see, how long are we into this live stream here? So this is, oh, God, I've been doing this for an hour. Damn. No wonder why my legs are killing me. My legs are screaming. I had the COVID shot yesterday. I really did not want to get the shot, and I don't even want to talk about this. I don't know why I brought this up. And I'm gonna end this conversation. I had to get it because you need it to teach at the college. And my arm last night was screaming at me right here. Oh, it's still screaming at me when I move it. Oh my God. She was really good, the person who gave me the shot. I didn't feel a thing, but man, it started kicking in last night. Ooh, that freaking thing's killing me. But yeah, let's not talk about that on this live stream. Who wants to talk about that? I don't. Definitely not. I shouldn't even have brought it up. Okay. So this is going to be a long process with this pencil. I can tell you that right now. All right. I don't love this line over here, but let's put some white charcoal in this for fun. There's a lot of little things that I see that are off. Please understand that. It's just you can't fix everything all at once. And the more you work on your drawing, the more you see what's wrong with it. And then when I stop this live stream, wow, it's already 1 o'clock. Damn. I'm probably going to eat lunch. And then when I come back to this after lunch, I'll really see what's wrong with it. Okay. So I'm waiting. I'm not going to go near her upper eyelids just yet. It's going to be really fun to put some white charcoal on them. But I'm not ready to do that because I still need to fix them with an eraser. Welcome. Yeah, Michael's is good. It's good. It's a little pricey. No doubt. But it is close, fairly close. And I'm not going into Manhattan. I haven't been in Manhattan since a year ago, March. Over a year now, a year and 2 months. And yeah. So I can't go to my normal art supply store. So I'm going to use this brush. So Michael's will have to do, but Michael's doesn't have everything that I want. Just very soft touch. And now we can play with a little bit with the kneaded eraser. We need to make her upper eyelid rounder. And so much to do on this drawing yet. So much to do on it. It's going to take me a long time. Let me resharpen this. So let's say we work on this for a little bit. Hey, Dawn, maybe a few more minutes. It's looking really soft on the video. So if I get a grayscale, this is going to freak the camera out when I do this. So when I look at how dark that is, look at how light that drawing is. So, God, it's a number. That's a number 3 value, which on this grayscale is almost like a middle tone. This grayscale is a little wonky. But yeah, it's pretty light, the drawing. Like, that's black. And look at how light it is. And that's as dark as this thing's going to get. I painted for many, many years of my life, all my life. And I just did an oil painting last summer. So yeah, that's my wet media, oil painting. And yep. But I don't paint really anymore. I'm just more of a pencil freak. Like I said, the last painting I did was a little less than a year ago. It's on my website. It's a portrait painting. So I would appreciate it. I got to do the YouTube thing. I would appreciate it if you guys like this video, if you got something out of it. If you want to see more of these live streams, definitely think about subscribing to my channel because you'll get notified. And if you want to get notified when I'm going live via email, you can go over to my website. The link is in the Show More part of the video, right below the video. Just click on the arrow. The drop-down box comes up and you see my website. If you go to members.drawingtutorialsonline.com, you'll be asked to sign up for a free course. It's just you give your email and you get a free course there on how to use white charcoal pencil. And then I have your email, which I think you get like 3 emails that offer you a 10% off a membership. And then after that, I stopped doing any sort of promotional emails because they don't really work. If someone's going to sign up, they're going to sign up. I mean, yeah, there are people who do like sales, and there are people who will never sign up to something unless they get it on a sale price. And I get that. So I don't, if you sign up for the free course, you're not going to be spammed by me at all. I'm not into that. I used to send out emails like that when I was into online marketing with my website, but I'm just like, listen, I have so many videos on YouTube. If you like me, great, sign up. If you don't like my vibe, then that's great too. You don't have to sign up. There's other things that you can do. So many other teachers out there. So yeah, but subscribe to the YouTube channel. That involves no money whatsoever, and you will get notified when I go live. I think that would be fun if you enjoyed this. Let's bring that eyebrow. Let me resharpen. Yeah, I understand. And what do you think of the non-photo blue pencil? Yeah, I almost did this one with the blue. I don't use the non-photo blue. I just use the blue, and I love it. Absolutely, I have lots of drawings done with the blue from years ago. That was the first pencil that was introduced to me, the blue, and not the non-photo, just that blue. And yeah, so there's some beautiful animation drawings done with the non-photo blue, and they're so gorgeous. No whites of the eyes. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Let's go a little darker under here. Let's go. You got to be careful. This is just me. You could disagree with me, and I'm cool with that. But on a female, I don't like to go too dark with the lower eyelids. I mean, if the female is wearing makeup, great, then you go there. But I like to keep the lower eyelids a little bit lighter. That's just my style. Some people like to go darker, and I understand that. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's something different. I mean, I've got tons all over my walls are black and white drawings. So lately, I've just, but this, I'm not, I'm going to tell you, so I'm giving you my vote on this pencil. This pencil is something about it I'm not really digging at all, because every once in a while it gets like that gritty, sandy feeling to it. And it actually pierces the paper almost, like it scratches the paper. I don't think you can see it on the video, but it's here and it's here. It scratches the paper, and I don't know what that's about. It's very strange. This whole side of her face needs to be darker to really show the form. The ear needs to be much, 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 much darker to show a three-dimensional head. Yeah, let's try that right now. So let's just kind of go diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. Neil, I don't know if you're watching, but do you see how I'm putting down pencil, but I'm barely putting down pencil? So I'm going in all different directions, and I'm just trying to show the side plane of her head. Do you have? I've tried digital art on my website. I have a digital figure painting from years ago, and I do a lot of digital. I've been doing a lot of digital this semester, teaching my students from the School of Visual Arts because all the classes are Zoom. And I gotta admit, like I really do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I just right now my style is pencil, and I just if you spread yourself too thin doing too many different things, everything's going to get watered down. And I just don't have enough time right now in my life to practice digital painting. Uh, so that's why I'm not doing more digital painting. But I like this, the figure that you see right here. This one, I might bring this into Photoshop and paint on it. I think it would be really fun. I'm gonna maybe experiment with doing that. I think, yeah, I've already got a pretty good photo of this. Let's put this right here. And I think I might bring that in and digitally paint. And this one too, I can maybe bring this into Photoshop and paint on top of it. Okay, so let's bring down. I appreciate your nice comments. This eyebrow needs to be wider. Um, yeah, so in the show more part of the video, you can see my Instagram page and you can see my personal website. I'm not promoting anything. Instagram is free. You can check out some more of my artwork there. On my Instagram, I have mainly drawings like this and stuff that I've done in the classroom with the live model. You can see a lot of drawings of Erica that I've done, gesture drawings of her, because I hired her many, many days after school where we would just draw for a couple of hours. So I've got a lot of gesture stuff of her there. It's hopefully I'll be back to that in July. Although July I won't be working after class because it's 2 classes in one day and I'm going to be spent. Okay, so now the rest of the drawing is going to be lots of rendering. In Vietnam, my teacher said, "Your brilliant take 99%, and the good, expensive art supplies just take." Yeah, I mean, God, expensive is a relative term. So what is expensive to one person in one country might be different to another person in another country. Like I know that these pencils are really super duper expensive in Europe, but here in the U.S. they're not that expensive. So, you know, I had a coaching student who spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on really expensive oil paints, and he had the money and he can do it. Uh, and I just use regular Winsor and Newton oil paints. Like and I was a professional painter for many, many years, and I never really bought the really good expensive supplies. I mean, yeah. So everybody's different. Some people really get into expensive art supplies, expensive papers. Like I want to use stuff that is readily available. And sometimes when you get into exotic supplies, they're not always readily available. Like if there's some like small little place in Europe that makes custom paints from, say, the Renaissance era, and they replicate colors from the Renaissance. What happens if they go out of business and you've used all of their paint and now you don't have access to their paint anymore? That's going to mess you up. So I really would. This is just my opinion. I like to use stuff that I can walk into an art supply store in New Jersey and buy the same thing that I can buy in Chicago, the same thing that I can buy in California, the same thing that I can buy in New York. And that's how I like to think about it. That's just me. Some people really get off on like art supplies, and I get that. I get that. I used to really get off on like getting really awesome brushes. I still have all my brushes. They're just sitting there, but I'm not really into it that much anymore. Uh, okay, let me look at some of the video is not clear. The video is clear. It's just my drawing's too light. Yeah, so that should clear. That's pretty clear when I look at it right now. It's just the drawing is, the pencil is a light pencil. Gesture drawing. So the thing with gesture drawing is there's no such thing as perfect, and there's no such thing as right. Uh, you just have to come at gesture drawing from the mindset of scribbling and not trying to do a perfect drawing. So I used to get so hung up like, oh, my gesture drawing's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect because you don't have an hour to work on it. You only have 2 minutes. So you just, the other thing with gesture drawing is you do not want to outline. Like, okay, so this is my biggest piece of advice with gesture drawing. The second you outline the entire figure, it's over. It's all stiff. And I see this all the time where people will do a gesture drawing 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and they outline the whole figure and they do nothing on the inside except for a black dot for the navel. And that's how you do not want to do gesture drawing. You don't want to outline everything. You want to work in the middle a whole lot more. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Craig, we were just talking about you. If this is the Craig that I think it is, is this the Craig that I think it is, where you were buying all those beautiful Renaissance oil, buttery? You used to use the term, if this is you, Craig, buttery consistency of the paint. That was like almost a year ago. That's great. Yeah, you spent if this is you, Craig, you spent a fortune on art supplies. And I still have the art supplies that you bought me, which they're right there. Okay, so yeah, yes, it's me, the one and only. How's it going, brother? Hope all is well. Hope so. The last paintings you emailed me came out really, really good, and major improvement happened in there. So that's a very good thing. So you see what I'm doing here with this? You got to be really careful. This ages a person instantly. I've told Craig that like a million times, right, Craig? So I would say, Craig, don't go dark over here. Don't use black paint right here. This ages the person. I know you're ready to throw like a knife at me through the video monitor. Yeah, I just aged her a little bit by going too dark there. Oh God, yeah, you still buy that expensive stuff. Um, Appreciate that. Little as dumpling. That's cool. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go. My eyes are starting to freak out now because I've been looking at this for way too long. Let's keep going. I'm gonna push it a little while longer. I don't know why, but I'm in a little bit of a flow here. And let's see. Yeah, I do. I use them all the time actually, and I love that the pan. I gotta buy new heads to it because this thing got like worn out. And where is it? Yeah, I ruined the other one. But yeah, no, they're awesome, and I really thank you for that. That was a really nice gift. Thank you so much. Craig, yeah, no, Craig didn't introduce me to the Tombow erasers. That was Dana. And Dana lives down south, I think in Tennessee. And he turned me on to these erasers. And they're called Mono Zero. And I love them. But I really don't use this one. I use this one with the round cylindrical head. And I cut the thing off of it that you're supposed to use to clip onto your shirt pocket. But I realize it's not 1976 anymore, so I'm never going to clip that on to my top of my shirt like I'm working in an office. So that's very annoying. I cut that off because it makes the eraser rotate, and it's just not cool. Okay, so what am I doing here? So we're going to bring this over into the light a little bit, soften that. Is art school worth it? Um, if you're a young person who's 18 years old and you want to get out of the house and experience life and meet new people and get a full, honest education, yes. If you're in your 30s, late 20s, you don't want to go back to school and you just want to learn a trade like portrait drawing, figure drawing, stuff like that, then I don't think it's worth it. I think there's so many good online sites that teach you the same thing that for like my site's $19 a month and I teach the identical thing where the college charges 53. It's actually $56,000 a year, and I'm teaching the same I'm teaching the same identical thing. So you have to figure that out. What's do you want a full rounded education with humanities, art history, everything? Well, then yeah, art college is great. I don't regret going to art college because I went to the School of Visual Arts, and the School of Visual Arts pretty much gave me my life because I became an illustrator, and that's what I went to college for. So I'm pro college, although I also believe in if you want to learn one discipline, it's there online for you. You just have to find a teacher that works for you, and yeah, absolutely. So in some instances, the online experience is actually better than going to college. Like there are things that I've done on Zoom that I could never do in the classroom, and yeah, absolutely. And then there are things in the classroom that I could never do on Zoom, like drawing with the model right in front of the students, and yeah, setting the model's poses and doing all that really fun stuff that can't be replicated on Zoom. Okay, so right now we're at a very soft phase of this drawing. Okay, I'll start over for you, David. Absolutely, not a problem. Yeah, it is. That's a good one. My legs are like screaming right now. I've been standing all morning. Um, I do encourage people to draw out of their imagination. Absolutely. So I believe in the three disciplines, and the three disciplines are you should be drawing out of your imagination, you should be drawing from photos, and you should be drawing from life. And it doesn't need to be 33%, 33%, 33%. It could be, 10% of your time drawn from your imagination, 30% of your time drawn from life, and the other 60% of your time, because of practicality, drawn from photos. Photos are just a practical thing. Like to hire a model, like when I hire Erica, it's not cheap to hire a life drawing model. And if I wanted to do a drawing, I'd go bankrupt if I was going to have a model in my studio for 8 hours a day. So that's just not going to happen. So there's the practicality reason for working from photos. And when I was an illustrator, I couldn't have somebody come in my studio and I'm going to sit there and paint them from life. That would be insane. Like it took me 8 days to do the painting. No, in today's day and age with the iPhone, nobody can sit still. Everyone's like always moving. And I just recently had to go for another MRI for my spine, and I gotta admit, it was torture sitting in that tube, not having to, I couldn't move for like 20 minutes. It sucked. And it's very difficult to find people who um, hold a pose. There shouldn't be any white charcoal over here, but I'm going to put it in there anyways. Okay, so I think we're going to be almost done here. Where's that brush? Brush, brush, brush. Yeah, here we go. Now, I should be a little bit more aggressive with this brush just for fun. Let me see here. Do you think copying the masters is a different experience than copying a photo? Yes. I think copying the masters is a must, but it's also very difficult. Like my favorite artist is Alphonse Maria Mucha. Have you ever tried to copy one of his drawings? It's insanely difficult. You go crazy trying to do one of his drawings. There's too many lines. Raphael drawings are another one of my favorites, and it's like you can go crazy trying to copy his lines. There's like thousands of lines in all of his drawings. So yeah, I think you got to copy old masters, and you should work. Everything's about what stage you're at. I remember years ago, and I'm sorry if you've heard me tell this story before, but I'll keep it short. I'll try to tell it a little differently. First time I copied a Mucha, and then I looked at my own drawing, and I'm like, you really suck. Your line is beyond stiff, and you need to draw like Mucha. And so I think your eyes get opened when you copy an old master's piece, and I think it's a necessary evil. Now, copying is one of those words that a lot of people on the internet don't like, and they don't like me to say the word copy. I don't mean copy plagiarize. I mean copy practice. Okay, if you're going to do like an old master's, it's practice. Okay, let me see here. I don't know about the next Friday at the same time, but I'm trying to do this on Fridays. I almost didn't do this today because I got the COVID shot and I was waiting to have like a fever and all that. And knock on wood, where's some wood? I'm very superstitious. Knock on wood, I didn't get a fever. So I didn't think I was even going to do the live stream. And but I didn't get a fever. Just my left arm is killing me from the shot. Yeah. So I wasn't even going to do. Let's just start to put a little light over here just for fun. I shouldn't be doing this yet. I should be putting more pencil down, but it's just going to take me hours to do this. And what the hell? Let's put the little charcoal over here. See, this is called dessert. And people like to do, let me sharpen this. People like to do dessert first. And especially with the white charcoal, you have to have patience. Like, come on now. Help me out. Yep. Yeah, copying is for learning. Absolutely. Can you say something about personal interpretation in drawing? Welcome. My mother-in-law is in Mexico. She should be coming home in another week. She goes there every year. So I think personal interpretation basically means style. Okay. So what your personal style is of your art. And I really try to encourage. So I just gave a talk. It was my last class, second to last class with my animation students who are graduating. And I was talking to them about making sure they develop their style and they work on their personal process, because that really is very, very important. And it's important that you develop your signature John Hancock style. I know Craig loved that one. And absolutely, you've got to develop your own personal style. And when I was an illustrator, I had a personal style. And if you go look at my Instagram page, you'll see a style there. Like I have two styles on my Instagram, my short gesture drawings and my long duration drawing that is like this style. And her face needs to be skinnier. Hope that helped. Is there a place where your paintings are? I've searched your Instagram and it's yeah, there's a painting right behind me that I showed the last time I did a live stream from 30 years ago. Uh, if you really want me to get one, I can dig one up. I showed that one last week. If you weren't here last week, just let me know. I can show it to you. Come on, this pencil's driving me cuckoo. But I have paintings stored. I took them out of my office and I put them in another closet in a different room, just to kind of free up some space. When I go to my parents' house to hang out with them, I have paintings there on the wall. I like those paintings a lot. And I look at those paintings now and I'm like, how in God's name did you paint so small? Yeah, pencil drawing's the place to start, Mona Lisa. So there are certain sports like ice hockey. There's a huge barrier to entrance, and the barrier is money, access to a skating rink versus basketball. Basketball, you just need a ball and a net, and so pencil, you just need a pencil. Pick it up and a piece of paper, any paper, and you just start to draw. So there's a low barrier to learning, low barrier of entry to learning how to draw with a pencil versus going out and buying $200 worth of expensive oils with expensive paintbrushes, expensive canvas, and expensive easel. So that's a whole nother story for another day. No, so that was my old life, my paintings. If I go get a painting right now, it's gonna. Were you here last week? Um, yeah, no, that was my old life, my paintings. But if you weren't here last week, Kiko, tell me, because then I'll show you the one that's like right behind me on the easel. It's a really old one, and it's an old. I call it an oldie but a goodie. So you let me know if you were here last week when I showed it last week. Okay, this is from A.K. Wilson. Should I go deep into the fundamentals or develop my style? So here's the thing with style. Some people are born with a style, and no matter what happens, they can't get rid of it, and other people have to find their style. So with me, everything I create looks the same, right? So that means I was born with this style. If everything you create looks different, that means you need to kind of experiment and see what you like to work on. So I would say work on the fundamentals, and then after you've done a number of drawings, then kind of line them all up and see if you can't spot a trend with what you've been doing more so than not, and that's your style. Um, you got it, Yusra. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let me go get that painting. It's right behind me. Okay, thank you, Yusra. Nice, kind words. I don't know how I'm going to show this thing. My God, um, can you even see? Yeah. So this is an old painting from. I'll show you the date down below. I showed this last week, 1991. All right, and this was what was called a. How do I do this? Sorry, a book cover sample. So this is a book cover sample, and yeah, so this is done in oils on illustration board, and that's when I was learning how to paint back in 1991. So that's one. That was called a sample book cover, not an actual book cover. Those that's a whole nother thing. Okay, so this drawing I think is done for now. I'm going to work on it off camera. It's really been fun hanging out with y'all, and let me just check out some of these questions and posts here. Cool. I've drawn flowers, no doubt, and I almost was going to do a tree today, but I couldn't find good reference. Yeah, I love doing that stuff. I know a tree is not botanical. Yeah, absolutely. You can start whenever. Most of the people on my website start later in life, like they drew when they were younger, and then they kind of get a little bit older. They get a little bit more time on their hands, and they start late. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to call this one quits. How long is this live stream? Oh my God, this is the longest ever, an hour and 40 minutes. This is insane. My legs are killing me. All right, so God, she needs a lot of work. I really need to work on this drawing, and there goes my camera. So that's telling me it's time to stop. So what I'll do is I'll work on this, and eventually it will be posted on my Instagram page. Eventually it'll be on my Facebook. Eventually it will be somewhere, maybe in the community section of my channel. Once again, I want to thank you all so much for joining me here today on this live stream. And I would appreciate it if you like the video, and I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel so you get notified when I do these live streams. And you can go sign up on my website for a free course. And then if you sign up for that free course via email, there's a little pop-up that pops up that says, hey, learn how to draw with white charcoal. I'll get your email, and I'll send you an email every time I go live with the link to the video. Okay, so thank you so much. Yeah, shoulder drawings, absolutely. Breaking records, an hour and 40. It's going to be an hour and 45 minutes. This is insane. Thank you, Jillian. I appreciate you, and we'll see you. We'll see you on Tuesday for more how to draw fabric. Yep, Craig, great to see you, brother. Looking at the model. Yeah, you got to look at the model. Craig, it was good seeing you here today. You're doing great. The last piece that you sent me in the email was insanely... it was impressive, and you have a style, no doubt about it. Keep doing your thing, because you are the most creative person I've ever met. Nancy, thank you. Phoenix, thank you. Kiko, thank you. Ace, I appreciate you joining, and I'm sorry I'm looking that away, as that's where the chat is. Vivian is cranking out animation. She's doing her thing. Helen, thank you so much. Jethro, I appreciate you joining me here today. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate that. Maria, I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. Rain, take care. Cheers, mate. Freseline, I don't think Fresine. I can't pronounce that. My pronunciation sucks. Neil, yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday, Neil. Looking forward to your piece in the critique gallery. Fabric, yes. Zoran, were you there last week when we did the fabric? Yeah, I think you were. So we're going to do fabric again. Absolutely. 1 week for how to draw fabric's not enough. I'm going to send everybody the photo reference before our Zoom class. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Mother's Day.